Welcome to the Savvy Leader Podcast. Real conversations about the grit, grace, and gratitude it takes to be the savvy leader you were always meant to be. Hey guys, welcome back to the next episode of the Savvy Leader Podcast. I'm Kristen, I am your host, and I am running solo today, and I'm super excited about it because I have finally wrapped my hands around some things that I've literally been working on for decades without even knowing it. But yes, I've finally wrapped my hands around some seriously important things, and I have learned so much, and I want to share it with you right here right now. Let's get started because one of the things I learned was that most people don't have a time management problem. And most people don't have a motivation problem either. What they have is a misalignment problem. And the hard truth of all of that means that you can build a very successful life that looks really, really great on the outside, but feels really, really off on the inside. That's where all of this work came from, that space in between there, that time. Because I didn't create the True North orientation from a place of theory. I built this from lived experience. I spent over 3 decades building this while I was building a career, leading teams, training people, and growing businesses from the outside. It really looked like I was doing everything right. And if I'm honest, there was a point there more than once where I was right there, right on the edge of what most people would call that next level of success. But I have realized something about myself over time. I've stood near that summit more than once, and instead of stepping forward into it, I would step to the side. The first time was in my corporate gig. I had plenty of influence, leadership, and probably more responsibilities than I wanted. Everything that signaled I was on the right track. But I gotta tell you, I have never felt more misaligned in my life than I did in that season. And instead of climbing that ladder higher, I stepped out. I walked away from the ladder altogether and I chose self-employment. At the time, it probably didn't look like a very strategic move. I can tell you that. It looked like a massive risk, maybe even a step backward, but it wasn't. It was the first time that I had chose alignment over expectations. And then, what do you know? It happens again. You think I would have learned the first time, but another opportunity came to light. Another thing landed in my path, and all I had to do was step forward. Another moment where I was close to breaking through. This time, though, I told myself a little bit different story. I told myself that I needed to step to the side or step back or step out of the limelight to help other people. And while that was completely true on the surface, if I'm being honest now, it was just another way for me to step to the side again. Instead of stepping forward into something, I just wasn't feeling it. I wasn't. And then everything shifted. One more massive time when we made this decision to hit the road and live full time in an RV. Because for the first time, I wasn't actually operating under pressures. I wasn't living up to the expectations of others. And here's the key. I was living up to the expectations that were coming from me. I built them. I was living inside something that didn't even actually fit me, that I had built for me. I had no idea. And that's where things started to get clear. Because when you remove the noise, the pressure, and you start to see what's real, you take a moment to reflect on the overwhelm that you always felt, the constant pressure, feeling like success was always just out of reach. And then honestly questioning yourself more than you ever should have until life forces a shift. Between the business challenges and the personal loss, the caregiving, all the health issues, I had to start asking different questions of myself. Not how do I do more? How much more can I take? But why? Why doesn't this feel right? Why does this still feel off? What am I missing? Because when something is off long enough, your body's going to tell you about it. Your energy will absolutely show it, and your life will start to reflect all of those things simultaneously. That's when I realized that most people aren't struggling because they're incapable. They're struggling because they're out of alignment with who they actually are. And here's what I started to see for the first time, myself and then in others. People are saying yes when they should say no. They're building businesses that don't fit them. They're staying in roles that drain them, and they're chasing goals that don't even belong to them. And then they're wondering why they feel stuck or exhausted or disconnected. That's not a discipline issue. That's a direction issue. More specifically, it's a true north problem. So I built something to solve it, and it's called the True North Orientation. It's not a coaching program in the traditional sense. It's structured, and there is a process to help you and to help other people identify who you are, recognizing where you're out of alignment, and then helping you to make the decisions to get you back into alignment. Because once all of that clicks, everything changes. Clarity. Most people think they're pretty clear, but they're not. They're operating off of old identities, other people's expectations, and even survival patterns. Clarity is about stripping all of that back and asking, who am I without all the noise? Because I had built an identity around achievement, around proving, around reaching the next level. But that identity, it wasn't mine to have. And this is where things get real, real. Because once you're clear, you can't stop seeing what you now see. And then you start to see where your life doesn't match. And alignment looks like your decisions matching your values, your work matching your strengths, and your environment supporting your growth. Misalignment is friction, resistance, exhaustion, and fatigue. For me, misalignment didn't look like failure. It looked like success that didn't feel right in my heart and in my soul. It looked like being capable, but still very constrained. And this is where people get stuck in the wrong way. They think contribution means, where can I help? But the better question is, where am I uniquely designed to make an impact? Not everything is yours to carry. And when you do try to carry everything, you completely burn yourself out. I've done that. I've taken on roles and responsibilities, even identities that were never mine. They weren't meant for me. Just because I could doesn't mean that I should. Once you have clarity, alignment, and contribution, direction now becomes obvious. And it's a simple door to open. You stop second guessing every decision. You stop chasing every opportunity, and you start moving with real intention. And those moments where I stepped to the side, they weren't failures. They were signals. I just didn't have the language for it yet. Maybe you have felt that way too. Through this work, I've started to see patterns, high capacity people who are deeply misaligned, leaders who have built success but lost themselves in the process. And individuals who know that something is off but can't articulate what it is. And when I hear people describe their situation now, I know it immediately because I've lived it. This is why I'm so passionate about this work. This isn't traditional coaching in that sense. It's not surface level mindset work or another productivity system, though all of those are incredible things and tools that you should have in your toolbox. This is about getting oriented with yourself. And it's built from lived experience, not theory. It's knowing who you are, where you're going, what belongs to you, and building a life from that place. So let me ground this just a little bit more. The True North orientation is a structured, multi-session process. It's designed to move you through pattern recognition, identity clarification, and aligned decision making. We're not just talking about goals, we're examining how you think, how you decide, and where you override yourself, and where you consistently feel friction. From there, we build clear articulation of your true north, not a vague idea, a grounded, usable framework for how you operate best. And I want to be equally clear about what this is not. This isn't therapy. This is not traditional coaching or someone telling you what you should do because you know already, because you're not broken. This is not about fixing you. It's about removing what isn't yours so you can see what is meant for you. The process itself is very intentional. We move through a series of structured sessions with pattern recognition, identity and influence, and then the True North articulation. From that, you walk away with tangible takeaways, a True North statement, alignment indicators, and even misalignment warning signs. A very focused 90-day direction. And you're not just thinking differently, you're making decisions differently. You've got a renewed passion within you because you can see where your true north path really is. And all of this matters to me so much because I know what it feels like to be capable but off, successful and yet disconnected, moving and yet not in the right damn direction. I lived it for so long, more than once. And I also know what changes when things finally align. There's this steadiness, clarity, a different kind of confidence with the way you move. Not loud, not forced, just certain. And that's what I want for you. That's what I want for everyone. So if something in this resonated with you, don't ignore it. Pay attention to yourself feeling off. Pay attention to what you're forcing. Pay attention to what you might be out of alignment, because that awareness is where all of this starts. And when you are ready to go a little bit deeper, the True North orientation is here for you. Thanks so much, you guys, for listening in. I am really excited about this, and I want to share this to as many people as I possibly can. Until then, until next time, be well. Thanks for listening to the Savvy Leader Podcast. Be sure to check out the description for any relevant links and additional details that we might have shared throughout this week's episode. And if you're looking to continue this conversation, we'd love to see you over at the Savvy Leaders Lounge on Substack or the Savvy Living Network for additional insights. That's SavvyLivingNetwork.com. We'll see you there.